The thing about life is how it's always there waiting for you. Being is how you're in it. Even if you think you took a break, let's say for 5 years. It welcomes you back when you're good and ready on account of how you've never been gone. It's always patiently present even when you forget to notice. It doesn't weigh in on your retreat, editorialize, stand in judgment about your quiet, dark room, your daily pacing, the tentative way you pulled back the shades to peer outside. Yeah, you thought you were making a statement, a trait peculiar to humans, to think life asks of us a summary paragraph, a succinct sentence, a convincing description that if we have it labeled, we have it understood. Okay, you thought maybe there was something important, brave, mystical about your 5-year shut-in with food delivery. Your immersion in obscure pure poetry, the weighty biographies of Freud and Jung, the determined attempt to forget the shape and fragrance of women, like they would all have found some other place to be when you finally opened the door and came back out. Perhaps you thought you could make existence last longer by leaving it behind, because when you were knee-deep in it, it was shooting by like a bullet train. You wanted to get a handle on things, reap the reward of solitude and study, feel the movement of your breath, get ready to touch life with less quivering, less fever. But you stepped out, you put on the coffee. You should know, one of the primary effects of caffeine is the sense of a future. A sudden burst of reassurance that there is a future, that improvements follow disappointments. You think of the transcendent and consoling aspects of the natural world and ask yourself what lust is doing there, hovering around you none too subtly after 5 years of de-emphasizing the subject, analyzing its unproductive contribution to your time here on earth. My dear boy, there may be the red rocks of Arizona, but there's also Kathy's red dress slipping off under that big sky. The landscape without the loosening outfit is a fishnet stocking too far, a canyon too lonely. A girl on a bar stool sways. You watch her as if she is a show put on with you in mind. Her legs are crossed the way women do, or the way they can, you know, the way they can when they do. You don't have to think about why this moves you precisely because you don't have to think about it, it moves you. She changes which leg sits upon which every couple of minutes. It seems so thoughtful, like a lullaby with the promise of an adult ending. You are timid with a wildly optimistic streak that finds no expression in your actual behavior. The girl speaks to the bartender with an overdose of enthusiasm, bringing up the work of Samuel Beckett. The bartender says he doesn't know anyone by that name. Says he knows some other Sams, one who's a real regular and a funny guy to boot. That doesn't stop her. She continues to address him excitedly because we believe in the power of our personal enthusiasms. Assume them to be contagious. The bartender is patient but tired. Maybe his enthusiasm consists of getting the hell out of this bar, and going home to his girlfriend, his boyfriend, his cat, whatever. He's listened to the pronouncements of so many drunks. Whatever the subject matter, it all sounds the same. But he remains polite. It's part of the job description. You, on the other hand, translate the same presentation differently. For you, her excitement is a sign of life, vibrancy, hope. It is not sleep or the wish to be closeted away, to stay beneath the covers, to never rise. Everything about it says, I'm awake, now make it worth my while. And you want to, but how? You tried all that before, isn't that why you left? And the girl herself is the exuberant owner of yet another interpretation, that the bartender's politeness is in fact his concealed lust, that he aches to know her, that he's just waiting to burst out of that constricted but beautifully formed upper body of his, one that appears to come with its own gym membership. Lift her off that bar stool, carry her into the well-appointed cave of his now fully realized desires. And her conviction is impressive, her need is palpable. Look how she operates the vehicle of her speech with such gusto. Observe, at your peril, the manner in which a silky blue dress drapes over her medium-sized frame, an adornment dropped over her body by conspiratorial forces from above or below, who can say, that both conceal and remind you of her nakedness, a cruel paradox and a reminder you were hoping had turned to shadow, a dreamy diaphanous subset of a substance you believed you wanted to be free of when you were tucked away. You ask yourself why everything is being proffered to the bartender. What is it about the disinterested that has them on the receiving end of all the good offers? You must act. You must raise yourself from your observation post. She can take no pleasure in the mad focus of your glance if she doesn't even know you're looking. Through your endless multiplicity of fears, you deprive her as well as yourself. That is all you have ever done. Come out from behind the curtain, stand up, and begin the great walk. It is said to start with a single step. You will worry people are watching, snickering at the nervous nature of your gait, placing bets quietly off to the side on the timing of your next fumble. You mustn't be deterred. You must dance as if no one is looking. Go to her. She is crying out, isn't she? And what else are we here for but to wail unto one another secretly? I'm sure you're acquainted with all that business about quiet lives of desperation. Get noisy. Reach for your inner lyric. The night is young. The sound of the dirge is far off in the distance. And damn it, you know who Samuel Beckett is. You make it across the room. You're standing right beside her. She could feel your breath if she were so inclined, but she is oblivious. You feel like a soldier stationed at her side. That's weird. Now people must be looking. You tap her on the shoulder like you would someone who'd cut in front of you in the grocery line. She turns around startled. For a second, you think she might topple into your arms. She puts her hand on your chest for balance. God, it feels great having her hand there. And for support, no less. Consider the symbolism. You are her foundation, her anchor. You are so grateful life offers such things, even if this is the first time it has. You think you should draw up a list of other once-in-a-lifetime moments to be grateful for. Where's your notebook when you really need it? Hi, you say, I heard you talking about Samuel Beckett. Did you now? I guess that makes you a listening Tom. What, you say, as opposed to the peeping variety. Oh, you say, you've been found out and so quickly, but wait, it's a compliment, she says. Oh, well, that's good, you say. Don't you tell people your name, she asks. Oh, I do. I most certainly do. It's Walter. So, if I choose you, Walter, a man who comes out of nowhere, taps me on the shoulder, is staring at me right now like I'm the hot fudge sundae he was deprived of throughout the tragic totality of his gloomy childhood. If I make a choice like that, where the hell does that end up? I see, you say, you can barely breathe. Someone's yanked the cord that links to coherence. You shouldn't see, she says. Seeing won't help. You should step forth blindfolded, packed with unruly desires, ablaze with impossible wishes, blown off course by lust-filled impulses in a stupid, passionate fever. Isn't that where you're really at if you stop, pause, and think for a minute? She gets off the stool, takes your hand, walks you out. You are trying to stop, pause, and think for a minute. Once outside, she grips your arm, stares into your eyes sternly. It's been 5 years since I've gone home with a man, which makes this an anniversary date of sorts. Don't screw it up.